start, sir, by saying that, asking how you've been coping with the lockdown since March when it started.
It's been very unpalatable, almost unbearable. But I've spent most of my time reading, writing, and watching African Magic, then Al Jazeera, BBC, and CNN, and occasionally channels and Rise. And of course, keeping pace with you too.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I've always wondered how you cope. You're a man of many parts, sir. You apart from writing, apart from getting involved in politics, apart from getting involved in the theater and movie setting, and so many other. How do you cope, sir? You are supposed to be slowing down, but you're not slowing down, sir.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was reminding myself about a week ago when I was in the primary school. The name my colleagues called me then, when I founded a small group in my town, I was called alias Never Tired. And I remember I was about 10, 11, because I would go to Lekewu, come back, go to school, come back. Then in the evening, we'd do jigo together and so on and so forth, and that kind of routine. Then I would engage with bricklayers around the town, go and carry pom-pom, also down from Ibadan to Ijabode, as a houseman and so on and so forth. So it's been that kind of background. I'm very, very, very busy, almost having 48 hours in 24-hour day.
And a few days ago, I read your article on Ibrahim Shatta, and I was like, this is marvelous.
Yes, it was a review. I watched the movie and I was really blown up, and it reminded me of Konstantin Stanislavski, who remains today about the greatest natural actor, in history, and it's a resurrection. So I saw a bit of Chata in him. I saw a bit of Jibisholanke in him. I saw Irosanga in him. I saw Doladipo and Kola Gumola in him. And I also saw a bit of myself when I acted Mr. Sipo in Sipo Amalgamated in 1966. And also as Macbeth in 1965, and so on and so forth. So, and I've acted so many leading roles in my younger days, and also in Ibadan, in Ijabode, and so on and so forth. So, so I was very fascinated, and he's one man I believe should be studied in the near future. In his acting style, very versatile guy.
Sir, you are a veteran journalist. You are a media icon. I mean, you've seen it all in the media. How do you feel today when you look at the terrain and the whole challenges that the media is facing today? What's your advice?
Well, I feel sad and saddened that the media industry is facing very, very tough challenges, some of which are out of their control, some of which are self-inflicted, and some of which are governmental. But in general, one is not happy. But I think the media practitioners are doing their best in a very, very unfortunate and unsettling terrain. They're not well paid, they're not well motivated, and their clients are also badly informed. They don't really know what is called news, so they don't even appreciate when good news come out. They don't appreciate when good investigations come out. I'm talking of the reading public. I'm talking of the Nigerian public themselves. So you can only get what you deserve, and the seriousness of the general populace has also affected the response of the media in general. Like I always say, I don't blame the media practitioners largely because of the economic situation. They're just struggling to survive. And you can only put up your best if you yourself, you are comfortable. Most general practitioners in media are very, very uncomfortable and very unsure of their future, very unsure of where they'll get their next bread. And that also has affected their productivity. And government is not helping matters. But I will also say this briefly, that the Nigerian media tend to believe that it's only politics that makes news. That is what really bothers me now. Because when you listen to when you watch television or listen to newsreel on radio and so on, 98% of what you hear is about PDP, PCC, APC, UTC, and so on and so forth. And that worries me. And that worries me because they are glorifying and glamorizing politicians that have actually ruined this country. So, and I thought the media should rise above that and give us news, real news about human beings, about genuine heroes and not charlatans whose only qualification to prominence is theft, is thievery and unarmed burglary.
Sir, when you watch what is unfolding right now in the country, how does it make you feel, sir? I mean, you're supposed to be in retirement, and each time you look at what is going on, how do you feel?
It's not only people in retirement. I don't think there's anybody in this so-called country, from Port Harcourt to Yola, from Lagos to Sokoto, who will say that he or she is happy about this country. Nobody will say so, unless, of course, there are a few people who are benefiting from the rot of the country, those who are benefiting from this large-scale fraud and stealing. So those who are benefiting from it, and they're less than 1%, they will tell you that they're happy. Oh, the country can be fixed, there's no problem, you know, so on and so forth. But the largest number of people living in this contraption are very, very unhappy. They are unhappy because they are left in confusion. They are unhappy because they just don't believe that this is the country that they were all looking out for. And I, in particular, looking back on Independence Day, is it 60 years already?
Yeah.
Some 60 years ago, when I was dancing all around Agorwe, jubilating and enjoying myself and saying I'm going to have a new dawn. Looking back on those days and now seeing what we've gone through and what we've suffered in terms of making a country or a nation out of this country, one is very, very sad. And I'm sure you yourself, a media icon and a leader in the industry and also an entrepreneur,
thank you, sir.
I'm sure that you will not say that you are happy. I don't think anybody is happy. Entrepreneurs are not happy. Businessmen are not happy. Even masons are not happy. Food sellers are not happy. Vendors are not happy. It's only politicians, and I call them mercenary stroke commercial politicians. Mercenary. In fact, the mercenary qualifies them more than any other word. And it's mercenary, the collectivity of mercenary politicians that are driving us this far. And I used to think that it's a Kaduna Mafia or Abacha or Buhari or Basojo. No. I've now come to the painful conclusion and realization that is the amalgamation of corrupt elements throughout the country that have ruined this country, that are really giving us the pain that we are going through now. It's not Fulani, it's not Hausa, it's not Igbo, it's not Yoruba, it's not Tiv, it's not Ijo, it's not Birom. It is the thieves amongst these ethnic groups that have gathered themselves together and have decided to make the country die and also inflict pains on all of us and run out of this Mother Earth by giving us hunger, poverty, and hopelessness. So I'm not happy. That's the summary.
So how do you see the NCDC, the NDDC probe and all of that and all the mess that we're going through now?
Well, I'm sure, see the way you see it, the way every Nigerian sees it, it only exposes the underbelly of the current ruler of the country that we thought was Mr. Innocent, Mr. Saint. But we have found out, again, may not be his fault because, those who put him there know why they put him there. And like one of his handlers said this morning, he cannot see everything, he cannot be everywhere. But the bottom line is that it exposes or it underscores the rottenness of the current regime, the rottenness, the absolute rottenness and the impunity of roguery, the impunity of whatever, I can't even find a word for it. That I don't careism, I don't care, all of you could go to hell. We are here to steal and steal and steal and plunder. And nothing you can do. And because they know we don't have arms, we don't have anything, there's hardly anything the Nigerian masses can do. So what I'm saying, therefore, my reaction to the NDCC, which has not just started today, by the way, is that it's very unfortunate that Nigerians are unlucky to have submitted their sovereignty to this crop of rogues that have hijacked power in Nigeria probably since 1960.
But sir, you're also involved in you are the vanguard of trying to get the Yorubas to take the rightful position in the country and all of that. And I'm wondering, at what stage are you? I know you are part of various groups trying to defend the Yoruba nationality, as it were. Can you share with us your thoughts on this and the efforts you've made so far?
Well, we were lucky and still lucky that we had a man called Emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye, who, having stayed in the US for about 25 years, was called upon, I think, by divine intervention to come back to Nigeria and galvanize the Yoruba, especially the intelligentsia in the country, to find a way of restoring Yoruba people to their dignity, restoring them to their culture and civilization. And that is what we are doing at the moment. I, as a person, not necessarily as a leader of Yoruba World Congress, does not believe that this country can be fixed. And it is my prayer and hope that within the shortest possible time, the nationalities that have been yoked together against their will and wish will separate and attain their sovereignties. I'm saying that the Igbo will stay as a country, the Kanuri and so on will stay as a country. The Caliphate in Sokoto, of course, although largely Hausa people, will stay as a country. And of course, the Yoruba, with all humility, the most highly cultured people on the surface of the earth, who also have their independence and have their country. I mean, the Yoruba as a race had lawyers and doctors as far back as mid-1880s. I mean, 1850s. And we have a civilization dating back to generations, dating back to probably 10,000 BC. And to find ourselves in this kind of terrible situation is unacceptable. And that is what the Yoruba World Congress is trying to address. And I believe very strongly that sooner or later, this country will be dissolved. And not necessarily, there'll be no shooting of gun, there'll be no fight, there'll be no, because the place has already collapsed. So the thing will dissolve by itself, will dissolve by its own weight, because there's so much stealing. And the country is in serious jeopardy, no money. And very soon people may find it difficult even to buy ordinary akara and ugi for breakfast. So we are in a situation that, whether we like it or not, the contraption, the Lugadian contraption imposed on all of us by the corrupt people will collapse. And like I said earlier, it's not done now by the Fulani or by the British or by Sokoto or by Ibadan. No, it is the collectivity of the worst rogues in the land that are hijacked power and are choking all of us with that power. So the Yoruba, coming back to you, the Yoruba World Congress is out to address this imbalance, is out to end this injustice that is pervading all over the country, is aimed to restore the Yoruba race to her civilization.
But sir,
and we're getting there.
But sir, how come all the major Yoruba groups are not working together, like the Afeni Ferry, your own group and the other groups?
Well, the thing is, when people raise that kind of question, I just wonder, when Moses was going to lead the Israelis out of Egypt, he didn't consult groups. It just came and it happened. When you read throughout history, I mean, Hitler was not even living in Germany; he was living in Austria, and he came and revolutionized that place. Although then he overstepped his bounds. But then I'm saying that when you read the history of revolution, you don't need to say, there's nowhere on earth where people of ethnic groups are united in that kind of form. Even within a family, when you have a family of husband, father, and maybe 4 or 5 children, the kind of unity you have amongst them is peripheral. I mean, what do you mean by unity? The thing about the more the merrier. If you have 1,000 groups in Yoruba land and they're all concerned about the pitiable plight of the Yoruba race, and they are working towards the same goal, I don't think they are not united. Since they are united in hope, they are united in purpose, and they are united. They may not be united in strategy, but what is important is to be united in the end result they are all working for. Many roads lead to the market, so some may go. If you are in Ibadan, and so you are going to Dubai, some may go through several. I don't know the roads that way. But in any case, if you are going to Jebu, you can go through Abeokuta, you can go through you can go through anywhere. So that the Yoruba as a people, and there's nothing wrong in them having so many groups. In fact, what led to the fact that they're having many groups is because they're all very dissatisfied. And there's no way they can call a meeting where the 55 or 60 million Yoruba will gather and say this is where we are going. The Yoruba say, it will just be one or two leaders that will show the way, and all others will toe the line. That's how it is. That's how it has been happened throughout history.
Sir, anytime you talk about Nigeria or you discuss the issue of Nigeria, you're usually very angry. And I'm wondering, what explains your anger with the Nigerian, with Nigeria as it is and our leaders?
Well, I'm angry because we could do better. I'm angry because this is not the Nigeria that I was born into. And that's why I tell people that I don't even see myself as a Nigerian. I see myself as a Yoruba man. I see myself as an Ijebu man. And if I can break it down, I see myself as an Agawe and a Yekwe man. I mean, this is not the Nigeria that we look up to. Nigeria is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of endowments. In terms of brains, there's no country on earth that are more master degree holders in the US who have Yoruba, of Nigerian ascendancy, ancestry, than even the Caucasians. What I'm saying that when they had a statistic released in the US, and they found out that the Nigerian is ahead of all other settlers in that country when it comes to education. There's hardly any family that doesn't have a master's degree as older. And coming back home in Nigeria here, you have so many professors in Eastern Nigeria, so many professors in Western Nigeria, so many professors in South. And with due regard to that, there are also very many brilliant people in the northern part of the country. When you look at Tahir, he made the first-class honors. You look at Diko, he made first-class honors. These are Hausa Fulani. One of them is Hausa, the other one is Fulani. You look at a person like Haruna Damu, brilliant fellow from UI to Leeds University. So you have so many brilliant minds also in every part of the country. Then you ask yourself, why is the place in this kind of mess? And the answer that I've just told you is what I used to euphemistically called plutocracy. That was what I called it when I was in Tribune, plutocracy. Plutocracy is the government of rich people, and oligarchy is the government of the brawn. That is the combination of rich people with the thugs. That's what we have now. So when you have such a combination, wealthy people who got their wealth through stealing and plunder, then aided and abetted by thugs, now dictating how your life and your country will be run, you can't afford to be happy. So I'm not happy. I'm always angry. I think I'm going to be angry until I die. Because I can't see, unless, of course, I may not be angry until I die, because if the country is dissolved, and I know it's going to be dissolved, then there will be a smile on my face. We have a Yoruba country that I believe will be really properly run. Then I hope that before I'm 80, 90, if God gives me that kind of longevity, there will be a smile in my face, and the borrowed frowns on my face will disappear.
But sir, do you see the new generation being able to birth a new Nigeria the way things are going?
Well, I just told you, I don't believe in a new Nigeria imagine. What may emerge, if they still want to keep the name Nigeria, may be United States of Nigeria. or the Union of Nigeria, or United Republics of Nigeria, that kind of thing. So they could still have 6 countries that will now come together and call themselves something Nigeria, but it will be independent countries coming together. Now, whether the youth of the country will be able to do that is neither here nor there. They may not be able to do so because they themselves have been impoverished. They've been so traumatized that they don't even know what's. I mean, if you graduate, if you pass your school certificate, and some bogus policy says that you must write what I call jamba for it. They say you must do jump, and you spend 6 years attempting jump. Probably you commit suicide before you do it the 7th time, and you eventually get admission to the university, and then you graduate and you spend 7 years looking for a job. I mean, how does anybody expect you to be anything, to have faith in that kind of situation, that kind of country, and to expect that you want to contribute to the salvation or the salvaging of that kind of country? So many of the youth are so frustrated. They're so frustrated. They're so hopeless, and that is why what they can only indulge in is hip hop, marijuana, and all sorts of drugs that will keep them high, that to make them temporarily forget their state in life. So with that kind of mindset, I find it very difficult to easily or readily conclude that the youth will be the people that will birth it. Those who will birth the kind of union that I'm looking out for may be people in your generation, people in their late 50s and early 60s. And probably some people with even in their early 50s may still join. But I don't see people under 40 in the present circumstance being able to do much in creating a Nigeria of 4, 5, 6, 7 sovereignties, being able to achieve that, simply because they are confused, their orientation is very wrong and wobbled, and they don't even know, if you ask any of them, they don't even know what the future holds for them. That's why I wrote an article called the Nigerian Adult Children. They are children, they are adults, but they are children. And they are adults in age, they are adults in physiology and biology, but in economic power and other things, they are just children. If they want to go out, they still have to take money from their mother to go to take a taxi. They need to, even to buy ordinary soap, they need to take money from their mother at the age of 30, at the age of 32. And they are, yes, biologically adults, but or in other areas, they're just children. And most of them still live with their parents. They can't even afford to rent a two-bedroom flat. They can't afford to buy a freezer or fridge. So difficult for them even to marry. The husbands have no job, so no woman will look at him or at them. And the wives themselves who are the wives to be themselves are also unemployed. Nobody will want to marry a liability. So that is the situation we are. So you just have one child or 2 children by 2 different men, and then they get stuck, taking care for children whose fathers are nowhere to be found.